Today, you're going to learn about some of the tools that are available to you in the Savvas curriculum. Some of the tools are built into Savvas, some are built into your Macs, and the rest are part of this toolbar up here, which is a Read and Write for Google Chrome extension. I'm going to show you how different tools work in different places in the curriculum, and then at the end, I'm going to have you learn how to go into some of the settings and access these tools. So let's first start with this play button that Savvas has built in. I'll start at the beginning, hit play.
Forces. When an object pushes or pulls on another object, it is exerting a force.
So the problem I have with this is that there's no highlighting, and it just reads a whole minute and a half, this whole page. But if you wanted to reread a sentence, you really can't because it's really too hard to find where you were. So luckily we have a tool called Hover Speech in the Read and Write toolbar, and it works really well. So I'm going to click on it, and then I'm just going to hover my cursor over some text to have it read. You don't click and drag, you just hover. So hover and let go.
When an object pushes or pulls on another object, it is exerting a force.
So you can see it has nice highlighting. And then if you wanted to read down here, you could click on it again and have it read. I'll show you another tool down here. This is a writing space. You can type here if you'd like. But if you wanted to use your voice to type using dictation, the Macs have a built-in speech-to-text tool on the F5 key. So click on that or tap it. And sometimes you have to tap it twice. I'm going to use my voice to write a sentence, period. So I hit that key again. If I want to have that sentence read out loud just to see how it sounds or see if it was accurate, I can select that and then hit Control-R on the keyboard.
I'm going to use my voice to write a sentence.
So now you've seen 3 different tools from 3 different places working in one document. So we'll move on to the next one. I'll show you some more Savvas tools that are built in. If you wanted to highlight this sentence, click and drag. You can click, let go, and then you're going to get this box here. You may want to highlight it a certain color, maybe categorize your colors. You may want to circle that. You could underline it. You could also annotate. You could take notes in a section. So I'll click on that and then type here. You can also use the translation tool.
Lanzamiento de la investigación. Los humanos han estado en la luna.
In the settings, you can choose the language that you want it to be translated to, and you can also change the speed. This is a Savvas assignment. You can see there's a due date there. And unfortunately, there are no text-to-speech or reading tools. Anytime I select text and hit Control-R, nothing happens. The read and write won't work either. But if you click on this pop-out, it changes the format and text-to-speech will work. So in this case, I can select a sentence and hit Control-R.
Explain what happens during logistic growth.
But the read and write tools won't work here. It's a little frustrating, but there's also another way, is you could open with a Google slide, because that's what this is. It's a slideshow. And then when it's in Google Slides, all of the read and write tools will work. So let's activate the toolbar again. And we'll go to the second page. Okay. So now Hover Speech is gone because it's not a website, but the play button is there. So you could select text, and hit play.
Explain the ways ecologists study populations.
If you wanted to look up a word, you can double tap, turn it blue, look in the dictionary. It will read the word aloud if you'd like,
Populations.
or you can hit play to get the definition.
Noun. All the people that live.
You also have a picture dictionary that may help. Pictures here, you can even drag them into your documents if you'd like. Another option is translation. Single word translation is here. There we go.
Populations.
Población.
You also have highlighters that you can use. You can use screen masking if that helps you keep your place. So this is yet another type of text you may experience in Savvas. And you can see that there's no screen reader built in, but the Read and Write for Google Chrome toolbar does work. Here's the hover speech.
Phenomenon. Launching a rocket is a complicated process with many things to consider before.
You can see that the text gets a little skewed, but if this is what you want to use, that's fine. Control R also does work. So if I click text, I can have it read.
Launching a rocket is a complicated process.
So you may prefer that. The other tools work, the dictionaries, the single word translation. But I also want to show you another tool that is helpful when you're trying to write, say, a research document or a research paper. So if I wanted to select some facts to save, to write about later, I can click and drag, turn them blue. I have a choice of these 4 highlighters. I'm just going to choose yellow for now, but sometimes students want to categorize their facts and choose different colors for different facts. So let's collect another one, and we'll collect one more. When you're finished, you will click on Collect Highlights. You'll say OK. And it's going to create a Google Doc for you. It only takes a few seconds. And now here are all the highlights that you collected, plus a link back to where you got the information. This works really well on websites, by the way. If you don't want the colors there, you can click, drag, select all of those, and then use that broom. It's called Clear Highlights, and sweep them away. Since we're here, I want to show you one of the writing tools that is built into Read and Write. So of course we're in a Google Doc, and you already know about dictation, but there is, they call it talk and type. You can use F5 key, or you can use this here. You can talk into your Google Doc and it will recognize what you're saying and type it out for you. If you want to listen back to what you just dictated to check for accuracy or just to see how it sounds, you can hit play.
You can talk into your Google Doc and it will recognize what you're saying and type it out for you.
The other option is, I'm going to make the font bigger, is a word prediction tool that's extremely helpful for spelling. So I click on that, and then I start typing. So I'm typing, I'm going to. I'm hovering over the choices. If you have any trouble reading these choices, you can just hover and listen. Then you can just click on it if you like. All right, learn. And I'm going to spell it wrong on purpose. Learn comes up. It's a very good word prediction tool.
Learn.
And it also knows what would come next about, I'm going to say physics. Physics. And I spelled it really, really off, and it came up.
Physics.
This is a lab notebook, And you'll see that you've got the screen reader here built in. Hover speech will work, but I cannot select text in this format to use Control R. I can't select words and use the dictionaries. But in the writing space, in the text box, the word prediction works, and also the dictation. But in other places in Savvas, those tools don't work. So I'm mentioning this because it's inconsistent throughout the curriculum, what tools will work where. So you may just have to keep trying different ones until you get the hang of it. We'll talk about the built-in Mac feature, text-to-speech. So as you can see where I am here on this curriculum, there's no tool reading the text, so maybe I want to select the text and hit Control R to read it. So to set up a better voice, you go up to the Apple top left corner, click and go to System Settings. Next you go to Accessibility, which is right under General. Then find Spoken Content. And you'll see that Speak Selection is chosen. That is the default for the district. I can click on the I and show you Control R are the shortcut keys that they've chosen. But the default voice is not a very good one, so I would highly recommend going in and changing that. So I go to the I again, and I have Siri Voice 4, but if I wanted to change that, I could do a search up here and type in Siri so I could find them more quickly. There are 5 voices to choose from. You can see I've downloaded all but one. If this were the one I were interested in, I could hit the play button and take a listen.
Hi, I'm Siri.
You can listen to all of them.
Hi, I'm Siri.
If you want to download it, you click on the cloud. It takes a minute or so to download. Then you're going to choose the voice. See, I have 4 chosen here. And then you're going to change the speed. Sometimes the default is just a little fast for a lot of people. When you're done with that, you can click on Done. If you're using an older operating system, your settings might look different.
Accessibility, spoken content. To change the voice, click the drop down next to System Voice, then Manage Voices.
So now that you have seen what the tools can do, I'll show you how you can access them. So if this was the chapter you wanted to read and you see Student eText, go ahead and click on that. And whenever you see for a full experience open and realize reader, go ahead and click on that. Find a chapter, and you'll see that the tools come up, the play button, and when you click and drag, you've got these other options that I showed you before. Follow these instructions to sync to Chrome on your laptop and access the Read and Write toolbar.
I will show you how to make sure your Google Read and Write toolbar is available for support. The first step is to open the Google Chrome browser. It's in your dock. Click on the profile picture in the upper corner, and then click on Turn on Sync. Here you will type in your 4J email address, and then click Next. For this page, type in your username without the @4j part, and then your password. Click Continue. Click Continue here as well. When it says Turn on Sync, make sure you click Yes, I'm in. To activate the Google Read and Write toolbar, first visit a website. Once you're in a website, click on the R&W purple puzzle piece. This is the Google Read and Write extension. You'll be prompted to choose an account. Select yourself, and then click Allow. This is very important. You shouldn't have to do these steps again once you've done this once. Now we have the Google Read and Write toolbar, which can be moved on the screen with the arrows if needed. The great thing about using Google Read and Write is it is available to all students and staff and can be accessed from any computer, whether at home or at school, just as long as you sign in and sync your Google Chrome browser, just as I showed you.
So you just learned how to set up Read and Write for Google Chrome, and I just want to quickly show you the settings. So go to the far right, click on the three dots, click on Settings. First thing I like to do is have students pick a voice that they like. There are some brand new AI voices to choose from, so let's go to Change Voice and choose AI Enhanced. You can listen to any of the voices by hitting the play button. When you find one you like, just click on it. You'll see a little check mark come up. Then you can go back. You can play with the speed a little bit if you'd like. The other thing I like students to do is go to the Prediction tab and set your settings up like this. This first one, follow the cursor, is unchecked. The last one is unchecked, and the 4 in the middle are checked. I'll also talk about translation. I'll go back to speech. If you're going to want that single word translation feature, you can come here at the bottom and choose the language that you need that word translated into. Then you need to close the box with the X.